The honey sacrifice. And again months and years passed over Zarathustra's soul, and he did not heed them. But his hair turned white. One day, when he sat on a stone before his cave and looked out, and one looks out on the sea from there, across winding abysses, his animals walked about him thoughtfully, and at last stood still before him. "O Zarathustra," they said, "are you perhaps looking out for your happiness?" "What matters happiness?" he replied. "I have long ceased to be concerned with happiness. I am concerned with my work." "O Zarathustra," the animals spoke again, "you say that as one having overmuch of the good, do you not lie in a sky-blue lake of happiness?" "You buffoons," Zarathustra replied and smiled. "How well you choose your metaphor. But you also know that my happiness is heavy, and not like a flowing wave of water. It presses me and will not leave me, and acts like melted tar." Again the animals walked about him thoughtfully, and then stood still before him. "O Zarathustra," they said, "is that why you yourself are becoming ever yellower and darker, although your hair wants to look white and flaxen? You are in a dreadful mess." "What are you saying there, my animals?" Zarathustra said and laughed. "Verily, I was abusive when I spoke of tar. What is happening to me happens to every fruit when it grows ripe. It is the honey in my veins that makes my blood thicker and my soul calmer." "That is what it will be, Zarathustra," the animals answered and nestled against him. "But do you not want to climb a high mountain today? The air is clear, and one sees more of the world today than ever before." "Yes, my animals," he replied. "Your advice is excellent and quite after my own heart. I want to climb a high mountain today. But see to it that honey will be at hand there, yellow, white, good, ice fresh, golden comb honey. For you should know that up there I want to offer the honey sacrifice." But when Zarathustra had reached the height, he sent back the animals who had accompanied him, and he found himself alone. Then he laughed heartily, looked around, and spoke thus: "That I spoke of sacrifices and honey sacrifices was mere cunning, and, verily, a useful folly. Up here I may speak more freely than before hermits' caves and hermits' domestic animals. Why sacrifice? I squander what is given to me. I, a squanderer with 1,000 hands, how could I call that sacrificing? And when I desired honey, I merely desired bait and sweet mucus and mucilage, which make even growling bears and queer, sullen, evil birds put out their tongues. The best bait needed by hunters and fishermen. For if the world is like a dark jungle and a garden of delight for all wild hunters, it strikes me even more. And so I prefer to think of it as an abysmal, rich sea, a sea full of colorful fish and crabs, which even gods might covet, that for their sakes they would wish to become fishermen and net throwers. So rich is the world in queer things, great and small, especially the human world, the human sea. That is where I now cast my golden fishing rod and say, open up, you human abyss. Open up and cast up to me your fish and glittering crabs. With my best bait I shall today bait the queerest human fish. My happiness itself I cast out far and wide between sunrise, noon, and sunset, to see if many human fish might not learn to wriggle and wriggle from my happiness, until, biting at my sharp hidden hooks, they must come up to my height, the most colorful, abysmal groundlings, to the most sarcastic of all who fish for men. For that is what I am, through and through, reeling in, raising up, raising, a raiser, cultivator, and disciplinarian, who once counseled himself, not for nothing, become who you are. Thus, men may now come up to me, for I am still waiting for the sign that the time has come for my descent. I still do not myself go under, as I must do, under the eyes of men. That is why I wait here, cunning and mocking on high mountains, neither impatient nor patient, rather as one who has forgotten patience too, because his passion is over. For my destiny leaves me time. Perhaps it has forgotten me. Or does it sit in the shade behind a big stone, catching flies? And verily, I like it for this, my eternal destiny. It does not hurry and press me. It leaves me time for jests and sarcasm, so that I could climb this high mountain today to catch fish. Has a man ever caught fish on high mountains? And even though what I want and what I do up here be folly, it is still better than if I became solemn down there from waiting, and green and yellow, or swaggering wrath snorter from waiting. A holy howling storm out of the mountains. An impatient one who shouts down into the valleys, listen, or I shall whip you with the scourge of God. Not that I bear such angry men a grudge. They are good enough for my laughter. They must surely be impatient. These big, noisy drums, which find their chance to speak today or never. I, however, and my destiny, we do not speak to the today, nor do we speak to the never. We have patience and time, and overmuch time in which to speak. For one day it must yet come, and may not pass. What must come one day and may not pass? Our great Hazar. That is, our great distant human kingdom, the Zarathustra kingdom of 1,000 years. How distant may this distant be? What is that to me? But for all that, this is no less certain. With both feet I stand firmly on this ground, on eternal ground, on hard, primeval rock, on this highest, hardest, primeval mountain range to which all winds come, as to the weather shed, and ask, where, whence, and whither? Laugh, laugh, my bright, wholesome sarcasm. From high mountains cast down your glittering, mocking laughter. With your glitter, bait me the most beautiful human fish. And whatever in all the seas belongs to me, my in and for me in all things, that fish out for me, that bring up to me, for that I, the most sarcastic of all fishermen, am waiting. Out, out my fishing rod, down, down, bait of my happiness, drip your sweetest dew, honey of my heart, bite my fishing rod into the belly of all black melancholy. Out there, my eye. Oh, how many seas surround me! What dawning human futures! And over me, what rose-red stillness! What unclouded silence!